I just realized I forgot to start our thing. We're totally live right now.
Yeah.
So welcome back to the resurrected pre-show that we've stopped doing. But now that I've accidentally pressed the wrong button, I'm just going to go ahead and share everything. Which, by the way, if you're tuning in for the first couple of minutes of this, go share the stream. Help us out. We're going to be live here in just a moment. You can see our beautiful faces. Quick, hum the theme from People's Court while I do this. Doom doom. A little bongo thing there. All right, let's do it. Let's have a logo.
Going through space.
Welcome back to Jedi Enclave, your weekly, very professionally run, super high-tech live show about Star Wars.
It definitely isn't done from some dude's basement.
It's a pretty nice basement.
It is, yeah.
It's a fucking mess right now. But otherwise, as far as basements go, it's pretty okay. But yeah, this is our weekly live show where we talk about Star Wars news and comics and shows like Today shows and other things as well, like the MCU.
Just had the teaser trailer for the Marvels. That looks really fun.
I think well, you know what? I'm going to put that on our if we have time after the thing, we'll talk about that a little bit. Also, there was a speaking of other things we're interested in, there's another trailer for The Flash coming up. I think in a couple of days, because that movie's coming out in June.
Yeah.
And then I feel like wasn't there? Oh, they confirmed today that they're doing a Harry Potter reboot on HBO, which isn't going to be known as HBO anymore. It's going to be just known as Max or whatever, and everyone's kind of wondering.
Okay.
Like the Harry Potter franchise doesn't have fans that are like, oh, reboot, Kathleen Kennedy ruined it, and all that other bullshit. Like everyone's like, those pretty good movies. Like,
I mean, they're fine.
Like who? Yeah. Why do they want to reboot them? Not related to Star Wars. Maybe we'll get to it after that. We mostly do Star Wars. Don't worry. Don't change channel. Don't unsubscribe, please. we need all tens of viewers.
It's true.
Mace Windu Alive says.
No. Sorry.
Greetings, citizen.
It's not true. Mace Windu is dead.
That's the name of his their Facebook page. Oh, which by the way, this is live.
Yeah.
So say hi in the comments. We'll say it back. We will be reading some fan comments after the recap. People have a lot to say about
there's a lot of shit happened on Mando today.
So yeah, we're mostly doing Mando season 3 episode 7, The Spies. Before we get there though, a huge shout out and thank you to our friend Connor at the Star Wars Hub and Star Wars Veritas. Those are things on Facebook you should go check out, and then make sure you like, subscribe, share the channel. We're on Facebook. Obviously, if you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube.
Obviously, if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube.
Yeah. And then also today, we had 2 videos on YouTube coming out today. One of them already is out about our Ahsoka Tano theories. And then there's a nice little gift we prepared for you about Mike Zero that should be live as we speak. So go check that out as well. After the stream, though. Don't you dare go anywhere. Also, we're on Discord. The Discord link is in thou's description box. I'm sorry, don't know why I did the Bible thing there. After this at 7, I think we're playing Battlefront 2. We weren't gonna have this show, by the way, because I thought I had a dentist appointment.
Yeah.
Turned out the dentist appointment isn't today; it's on Friday. But I discovered that after I told all the Battlefront guys no, but then like some of them are available. So either we're gonna do Battlefront 2 at 7, or we're gonna do 2-player Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga.
Okay.
So it'll be one of those 2 things, and you'll have to join us to find out. And of course, we'll be doing.
You will discover at the same time we do.
Yes, and as always, we'll be talking theories and nerdy stuff on that stream as well. So make sure you join us. Where ordinarily we do news first, we're gonna save the news until after. I want to make sure we don't run out of time for this because like a lot happened. I feel like there's a ton to talk about.
Yes.
Steven says, did you like the episode of Mando? I did.
Very much so.
This is the way I loved it. Juan says, hello there.
Hello there.
Oh, you know what? Hold on just a second. Because I think I didn't move my soundboard over here, but I think I can do it from here.
I don't know if
I maybe can't.
either it's not working or you're about to get like 7 hello there's.
I don't think that there's a play button.
Unfortunate.
Aw. It's remind me the next time, because we set up a soundboard for Battlefront, and it's got like 20 different like recordings on it, and I have my Stream Deck set up, but my Stream Deck is way over there and not plugged in at the moment. So hello there. I was gonna press the hello there button. It was gonna be real fucking funny, but I ruined it. So anyway, before we get into this, we're gonna spoil it. Like we're gonna talk about everything that happened, all the big reveals, all the big shocking moments, who died, who didn't die. If
Who
you
lives, who dies, who tells your story?
Yes,
That's a very old reference. I don't know if anyone's going to get it.
I didn't get it either, but I thought I would agree with you and
Thank
support you as a friend.
That makes me feel better.
So if you're not the kind of person that wants this spoiled, or if you haven't seen it yet, turn away, come back later, go and watch the episode, because it's a fucking banger. It's a good one. And then come back and let us know what you thought. And as I said afterwards, those of you who commented on our spoiler thread on Facebook, I'll be reading your thoughts afterwards as well, and we'll be responding to them. So all right, you've been warned. Fucking spoiler alert.
Just fucking going.
Don't come at me. Let's go.
All right. So we open up on Coruscant. It's nighttime, and who should be snooping around a bunch of neon lit back alleys but our good friend Elia Kane.
Yes, which by the way, in the last episode I mentioned a couple of times that like they were doing some Blade Runner things. The first couple minutes of this was taken straight from Blade
It's
Runner.
nighttime, it's raining, there's neon everywhere.
Some of them's blinking and shit, and it's there are real sketchy fucking people everywhere.
So she's going around these alleys and looking over her shoulder and doing all that, and eventually
being stealthy. She's being stealthy. Yeah.
She eventually she's alone. She comes face to face with nothing other than an Imperial probe droid,
which looks, by the way, in the dark, with like the big red eye, it looks
pretty
real
fucking
ominous. Yeah, very ominous.
So the probe droid like scans her face and she gives a password, and then the probe droid turns on its little fucking R2D2 projector, and it's a fucking video call with Moff Gideon.
Yep, he's connecting via Zoom.
Yeah, because who the fuck else would it be?
Yep.
So Gideon's like, fucking report, I'm in a hurry. Kane is like, well, okay, so don't be mad, but those pirates that we wanted to kick the shit out of Navarro, they kind of didn't kick the shit out of Navarro.
They're all dead.
Gideon's like, go on. Kane is like, yeah, so some Mandalorians showed up. It was Bo-Katan and then Din Djarin and his cult. And Gideon's like, hold the fuck on. Yeah. Those people hate each other.
Let me consult my notes.
How the fuck are they working together?
They're not friends.
Their friends are not friends.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, whatever. Just fucking, I'll deal with the Mandalorians. You just keep doing your shit. So we changed perspectives to Gideon, who is now like he's got a brand new base. It's pretty swanky looking. So he fucking hangs up.
Clearly subterranean.
Yes.
Like I'm not going to blow the load too early, but like it's not a space we've seen before. And he's got digs somewhere. Like he's set up pretty nice.
So he goes walking down a hallway, and there's a whole bunch of these dudes in these white and black armor. It's very swanky.
They got the fucking episode 1 laser walls.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He walks through another hallway, which has a whole bunch of clone tubes, which I have no idea why the fuck you're putting these things in the hallways you're just walking through, but, I'm not an interior designer. So he comes out.
Nothing about Imperial architecture makes sense. Have you ever noticed this? Like, I've always laughed at it, but the one thing that really made me laugh was when I was playing Jedi Fallen Order, and you get to the last boss fight with Trilla, and you walk into that giant room. The Empire wastes so much space.
Yeah.
Like they have these big cavernous areas and shit, and it's like, do you know how many floors of a building you could fit in here? But the Emperor's like, no, I just want a sweet chair in here.
And it just has to look cool.
Yeah.
So Gideon comes out to this conference room where he has like, I don't know, a dozen Imperial officers on conference call. And they're all bickering about their methods and objectives and shit. And like they're talking about how, even though we're all actually working together, we need to give the appearance of being, disorganized and working at cross purposes. Otherwise, the Republic's going to come in and stomp our shit.
Yeah, I got so much to say about this sequence. Yeah. Get through it, and then we're going to talk about it, because there's a lot there.
So there's this one captain who says, yes, we're all just waiting for Grand Admiral Thrawn to return.
Wink. Turns to the camera. Ching.
Yeah, because he's going to, unite the military and lead us to glory. And by the way, have you met my friend Commandant Hux, who is working very deliberately on something called Project Necromancer?
Wink. Ching. That was Brendel Hux, by the way.
Yes, it's not the Hux we know from the sequels. It's his dad.
It's his father, who is played by Domhnall Gleeson's brother.
Oh, yeah, it's neat. So Gideon at this point interrupts and says, "Hey, you talk a lot of shit about this Grand Admiral Thrawn guy, but I don't see him here.
Yeah.
So what's up with that?
Also, he's blue. What's up with that? The fuck?"
The captain is like, "Well, it has to be a secret." And Gideon is like, "Back the fuck up.
Yeah.
I am the master of secrets.
Yeah.
I do secrets are what I do, and I haven't heard any secrets about Thrawn.
Other than he's blue, please explain. I don't understand.
Oh my god, you can't just say someone's blue.
How is a man that blue? Yeah.
He's like, I don't see Thrawn in this room, therefore he isn't real, therefore I'm in charge.
And
not
because
Thrawn.
I'm an infant, I have no object permanence,
Exactly.
and I can't imagine something outside of my where I can see.
And half the Imperial officers are like, you know what? He makes a good point. I don't see any blue people here. Clearly, Thrawn doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So
and then the one guy's like, we're all on holograms. We're all kind of blue.
Yeah.
And they're like, shut up, fucking Fred. We weren't talking about that.
So Hux turns to Gideon and says, hey, didn't you promise to get me Dr. Pershing and give me a copy of his PhD thesis? Because I kind of need that for Project Necromancer.
Yeah. Also, let me see. It says, say Project Necromancer 6 times. How many times? Fred, how many times did I say Project Necromancer? 5, boss. Well, I just said it again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's 6. Good. Continue.
So Gideon is like, look, Pershing was captured by the Republic. It was a whole thing. They fucking took his PhD thesis and locked it in a vault. No one can get to it. It's not happening.
But we shot red lasers at his brain.
Hux is like,
best we could do.
Wait a minute. I thought you had Pershing doing cloning shit over on Navarro. What's up with that? Gideon's like, oh, no. Let me just set the record straight here. I'm the secrets guy.
Yeah.
You're the clone guy. Let's not get this twisted. You do cloning, I do secrets. We don't go on each other's territory.
And if we wanted to do cloning secrets, we don't know who the fuck we'd turn to. So let's not even open that can of worms.
He's like, I cover shit in my sector, just like every other Imperial officer here. We do our own sectors. We do our own shit. Except, you and that captain who has strangely blue lips over there, because, he sucks Thrawn's dick all the time. You two are, funneling off all the resources for yourselves. What the fuck's up with that?
So there are a bunch of people right now, tens of people watching this right now who are about to scream at you because it is not apparent to me that you recognize who that person is.
I didn't realize who it is.
So the guy whose lips are blue, probably from Thrawn's dick, that would be canonically probably accurate, is Captain Paleon. Mm-hmm. From the original Heir to the Empire trilogy.
Oh.
Thrawn's exo on the Chimera.
Oh, neat.
Is extremely important throughout the story. In Old Legends, eventually ends up a bunch of shit happens. Thrawn dies. Mm-hmm. Several years later, they make this new government. It's like the New Republic, but there's an imperial there's an imperial senator who's in charge of the imperial side, and Paleon is in charge of some of their armed forces. In the end, everyone kind of ends up working together, and the Yuzong Vong show up, and they're like, oh shit. So Captain Paleon, in addition to Rook, who is Thrawn's pet Nogri, were big characters on that side of the fight. So having his name dropped was kind of a huge deal.
Anyway, so Gideon wants some shit, and Hux is like, oh, wait, hang on, I have your order form right here. It says here you wanted 3 Praetorian Guard and a shit ton of TIE interceptors.
Yeah, so I was like, first of all, I was like,
wait.
Do you guys just have a bank of Praetorian Guards that you just issue out to people?
Apparently.
And it's so fucking funny that look, Moff Gideon being like, okay, I want bombers, I want TIE fighters, I want this and this. But him being like, I want cool ass bodyguards. It's so Moff Gideon. Of course he would. And then anyone who's paying attention, I'm gonna mention it again. Right around now, we should be having a Mike Zero video coming out where it's from our show a couple of days ago where we talk about how dumb Mike Zero is and about how
the sequel trilogy isn't getting retconned or anything.
The proof just keeps mounting. The Praetorian Guards were introduced and exclusively didn't exclusively appear in, but exclusively appeared in The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's just another little thing that they have they are so obviously setting up the story in the sequel trilogy that it's not even an argument anymore.
Anyway, so the captain is like, so like, what the fuck are you worried about? Like, you're asking for like a shit ton of ships and like these 3 incredibly badass bodyguards. Like, what's your deal?
Gideon's like, stop. I want to reiterate. I want the Praetorian Guards, but from the waist up, they need to be naked. It's tactically sound. Please don't ask me why. I just want shirtless Praetorian Guards. And Paleon's like,
that's weird,
okay.
But okay. So Gideon is like, so the Mandos are about to retake Mandalore, and that's just not going to be good for any of us. And like all the Imperials are like, yes, that would actually be very bad for us.
I like how everyone's like, oh shit, no, that's bad.
Yeah. So Hux is like, fine, I guess I'll send you that shit you wanted.
He sounds so much like General Hux because they're related.
They're brothers.
Yeah, they're related, but it's just like it was really funny.
And
don't ever fucking trust a ginger is all I'm saying. Like, don't ever fucking. If you're out there, you understand.
And everyone's like, long live the Empire. And just I want to take a sidebar here. What do you think Project Necromancer is?
I know what it is. It's the project to clone Palpatine.
Oh.
Yeah. Which
on the way over, I was thinking like it's either cloning Palpatine or creating Snoke.
Yeah, which on his way into his Zoom meeting, he passed a bunch of clone tanks again. Mm-hmm. So and they kind of like give him the third degree about that too. They're like, why are you doing secret cloning shit? And he's like, don't worry about it. And it's funny that even without Dr. Pershing, he's still doing stuff with it. Like they still have assets there that clearly had to do with cloning. So we predicted, or at least I did, a while back that Gideon maybe was the guy that was answering to Thrawn, right? It's very clear that Gideon
he doesn't like Thrawn.
Doesn't like the idea of Thrawn very much. There is obviously someone working for him, but it looks like Gideon's angle is like, fuck Thrawn, fuck everything else. Wait until you see me at the end of the episode. I should be running everything, right? So it's it's one of those things where like he seemed to me in this meeting like he's becoming more and more unhinged and like power hungry and crazy. And then especially by the end of the episode, you're like, that man is drunk on all the shit he has.
So that we get the title sequence with slightly different music than usual. Which,
lots of low brass.
Yeah, sounds really cool. So we jump to Navarro, and people are, trying to rebuild their city, and there's this giant shadow that just covers everything, and they all look up, and oh my god, it's a fucking Imperial light cruiser.
Yeah. So I like how like there's one guy in the street who's like, again, motherfucker, we just did this last week.
Second time this week. Come on.
So I almost shat my pants in this scene. I'll tell you why. I didn't realize at first that it was the light cruiser, right?
Yeah.
And you see a pretty limited shot of it at first, and you see that there's something painted on it, but you can't see what.
And then fucking Grief Karga's protocol droid comes in and says, hey, we're fucking under attack. The Empire's here.
Right. Now, my first impression was Thrawn has a Star Destroyer with a Chimera painted on it.
Okay.
In fact, it's called the Chimera. And there for just a second, I was like, oh my God. Here it is. Because you know what's happening next week. It's happening. Where Thrawn is coming to live action next week. I would bet... I would bet your life on it. I wouldn't necessarily bet my life on it. But like
co-hosts are fungible here.
Yeah, 99.9% positive we're going to see Thrawn before this season is over.
Okay.
I really thought this was how they were introducing him, and then I was like, wait, that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. Anyway, so Grief Karga like looks at his protocol droid, steps up and goes to his window and says, "You fucking idiot! That's not the Empire. That's the fucking Mandalorians. Don't you see the fucking mythosaur painted on that thing?" And the droid's like, "Oh, I thought it was the Empire."
You programmed me to suck your dick, sir.
I don't even have a mouth. It's really fucking awkward to try to make that work.
Oh, how am I supposed to see what's on there?
So we go to the Mando camp outside of town, and fucking Armorer steps out of her tent to see the Mandalorian fleet come into land,
which looks really cool, by the way, because they've got
the light cruiser and they got a whole bunch of like whatever the fuck the Gauntlet is.
Right, but they also have a bunch of those smaller transports that Bo-Katan, Sasha Banks, in season 2 in the Waterworld episode, at the end they hijack that Imperial like transport thing. It's smaller than the light cruiser, but it's kind of big. Yeah. They've got like 4 or 5 of those motherfuckers too.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like a kind of a big fleet.
So we jump to Bo-Katan's cockpit, and she's like, I don't know how this is going to work. Like, my people and your people really don't fucking like each other, and, like, they don't know each other. They just see each other as symbols to hate.
Yeah.
And Mando's like, don't worry about it. Either they'll work together, or we're all going to fucking die.
Yeah. And honestly, what's more Mandalorian than that?
Yeah. So the fleet lands, and the two groups just kind of walk up to each other. So on the one side, you have the cult, and on the other side, you have, are these the Night Owls, or is this just...
I think they are. I mean, I think they are the Night Owls.
So the Night Owls all walk out, and like it's looking like kind of a standoff here. And then fucking Axe Woves and all his people take off their helmets, and
which you can tell, like Paz Vizzo's like pussies as soon as they took the helmets off.
So they're just kind of giving each other the once over and a little bit of a stink eye, and then fucking Armor bangs her hammer on her tongs and says, "Yes, welcome, Night Owls. It's so good to see you. Cult people, let's fucking put together a feast."
Mm-hmm.
And she's just trying to diffuse tension, be a good hostess.
By the way, did you see what they were feasting on?
I don't think I did.
They're the baby birds from that one episode. I'm not kidding. Those, like, when they bring the 3 baby birds back and they're like, here are your new foundlings. Apparently the Armor is like, well, we're gonna eat those motherfuckers because they look like Cornish hens, big fucking Cornish hens on spits, just like revolving around the fire.
Fantastic.
It's like the Armor's like, okay, on second thought, I'm not building them helmets. Just cook them, please.
Yeah. So Grief Karga comes down to the camp and says, "Hey, Mando, Jesus Christ, that's a nice fucking fleet you got there. Also, I've got a gift for you. It's this even nicer bottle of liquor. It's direct from Coruscant, so it's the good shit. Also, I have one more thing for you. Come with me." So they go back to Grief Karga's office, where the Anzellans have put IG-11 back together again, except they kind of ripped out his sentience. The thing that makes him
they made him into a mech suit.
Yeah.
A mech suit that fucking Babu Frick is.
He's IG-12 now.
Yeah.
And fucking we get another moment of like Babu Frick walking past Grogu like, "Bad baby,
yeah,
no squeeze."
No squeezy, yeah.
and they're like, "All right, so we can just put fucking Grogu in there and he can drive it around. It'll be great." And Mando's like,
I was a little disappointed by this, by the way.
Yeah.
Because don't you think it's a little perverse?
A little bit.
Like, it's like if you had taken because as we know, droids attain sentience in Star Wars. It's like they came up to a person and scooped his brains out and then put a child and sat him in his skull with like a little steering wheel. Like, okay, now go.
It's a little weird.
I felt kind of bad for IG-11.
I mean, that's one way to look at it. On the other side, like he like even in death, he's still protecting Grogu.
I think he would have rather been a statue, honestly.
Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mando's like he's like fucking the mental age of like 3. He's way too young to be operating heavy machinery. And Grogu just fucking mashes a button that says no.
Yeah.
And IG-12 says no.
Yeah.
And Mando's like, "The fuck do you mean no?"
The comedic timing of this is great. He hits the no button and then like Grief and Mando look at each other and then they look at the like, what the fuck was that? Which, by the way, they're like Jon Favreau and the guys have kind of like, I can't remember what interview it was for. It was recently. He was talking about their challenge of eventually giving Grogu a voice,
yes.
like a talking voice. And I think that this is like the most hilarious way they could have handled it. They're like, we're not going to have him talk, but he's going to press a button on the suit and it's going to talk.
He has 2 buttons. They say yes and no.
Yeah, 2 words. That's it.
So Grogu just starts fucking driving IG-12 around the office, having the fucking time of his life, and mashing on the yes button. Yeah. Yes, this is everything I want.
Yeah, they commit to that gag for a bit. Like, there's a shot of them walking through the city, and he's just hitting it over and over and over again.
He's so happy. Yeah. Like he walks up to this fucking market stall where the fucking merchant is selling Mantel mix, which we know from Bad Batch. He fucking grabs a box and he starts eating it. And Mando's like, "Grogu, no, you have to pay for that."
Yeah.
He fucking gives the Mantel mix back, and Grogu grabs this gourd and like holds it over his head, and Mando's like, "No, give it back."
Yeah.
And Grogu squishes it.
It's like Grief Karga has created a monster.
Yeah. So that night at the camp, like the 2 factions of Mandalorians are still kind of hanging out by themselves because they don't trust each other. And so fucking Bo-Katan steps out and says, "All right, motherfuckers, listen up. We're gonna take back Mandalore. We're gonna scout out the surface with a small group and start resettling from there. But in order to do that, I need some volunteers to go down to the surface and check things out.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, like, nobody really responds. And then who else but Mando stands up and says, all right, I'll go.
Yeah, we all know he was going to be.
Of course, yeah. And Grogu's like, yeah, me too. And fucking Sasha Banks steps up and says, you know what? You got me too. I'm in. Fucking Axe Woves is like, yeah, I guess. And Paz Vizsla like, yes.
Yeah, Paz Vizsla not to be upstaged because there was some conflict brewing between him and Axe.
And then we get a bunch of other generic Mandos who are like, yeah, I'll go. And Armor is like, yes, I will also accompany you.
Yeah, so this is right around the episode. And if you're watching, put it in the comments if you understand where I'm coming from. The first thing is that this suddenly started to feel like a Game of Thrones episode to me. And it only got more like Game of Thrones for me as the episode went on.
In what way?
I don't want to say so right now.
Okay.
There are a couple of things that when we get there, I'll point it out.
Because there's not very much sibling fucking in this episode. Spoilers, by the way.
Okay. So I'll grant there's a lot of sibling fucking in Game of Thrones, right?
And cousin fucking.
There's a lot more than that, though, too. Like, there's a lot more. Second thing, and I don't know if it's how they shoot the armor because you can't see her face and you can't see what emotions. Sometimes they shoot her from behind and she's just watching something. There's something very distrustful and deceitful about how they shoot her, and this is right because when in the last couple of episodes where she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna abandon my fringe cult beliefs and we're all gonna be a happy family," I started thinking, "Bitch, really?" Like, because that doesn't happen too often. And right around this point in the episode, I started to distrust her immensely. But as we go on, I've got more on that.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the fleet fucking lifts off and hyperspaces out to Mandalore. So Bo-Katan is taking the scouting party down in the gauntlet, and she's flying through a fucking thunderstorm. And she opens up the bottom hatch, and everyone fucking looks down and says, Jesus Christ, Mandalore got fucked up. Axe Woves is like, yeah, I know, I was there.
Yeah.
Where the fuck were you guys?
Yeah.
So scouts get dropped and they jetpack down to the surface and they look around and it's just fucking rock and glass. Nothing's there.
Yeah, it's the same thing that we saw in episode 2 or whatever. Yeah.
So they're like, all right, it's fine. Get down here. So Bo-Katan comes into land and she's like, all right.
She lands like a dainty butterfly. Those ships, by the way, those what are they like? Marauder class ships. Hers is called the Gauntlet.
I guess.
Those are sexy ships.
Yeah.
I really like those.
Pretty cool. So Bo-Katan's like, all right, somewhere under all this bullshit, there's the forge. Once we find that, we'll bring everyone else down. We'll have a fucking party. So let's fucking go. So they're walking around for a while, and out on the horizon, Mando spots something, and everyone starts pulling out their guns and spreading out, and fucking this big land sailing thing zooms into view.
Yeah. And
it stops a little ways away, and there's some guys out on the deck, and they're like, "Hey, you got any food?
Got any bacon?"
So Bo-Katan's like, "Yeah."
Okay. So when I was watching this episode, when the IG-11 thing happened with Grogu, I texted my partner John. And I was like, "Okay, so Mando's going off the rails this week," and then I kept watching, and stuff kept happening where I was like, oh, we're going more off the rails. Yeah. This was one of them. And I'm not saying I didn't like it, but the giant fucking pirate ship coming at them, like, I was like, oh, okay, this is, we've gone full crazy. That's fine.
Anyway.
Oh, by the way, go on. I'll insert when it's.
So the guys in the bar are like, hey, are you wearing the Night Owl crest? And Bo-Katan's like, yes?
Depends on who's asking.
Armor's like, wait a minute, those are Mandalorians.
Yeah.
The guy in the bar is like, are you Bo-Katan Kryze? And she's like, last time I checked.
Yeah. Oh, but I love that Grogu has his little suit too, and he's just like following him around.
So the guys on board fucking jetpack off and land right in front of her, and they're like, fucking, our queen, Bo-Katan has come back. Like, we're fucking old as shit, and we've been around the block way too many times, but we're here to fucking serve.
Yeah. One of these guys, and if you are a Breaking Bad fan, once I tell you this, you'll never be able to not see it. But one of the Mando guys that's introduced here is Skinny Pete from Breaking Bad, who is his actor is like a character actor, and is hilarious in that show. Like, he's super funny, and him playing a serious role in something I like recognized him at first, but then like I was like, I'll look that up later to see who that was, and I looked up who it was, and I just like I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. So that evening, everyone's hanging out on the fucking pirate ship. One of the old guys like,
big fucking dining table. They're having a big fucking
One of the guys like, the Empire nuked the shit out of us to make an example and encourage other planets to surrender. And Bo-Katan's like, that's not like I fucking did surrender.
Yeah.
And Sasha Banks looks like she's gonna say something. Bo-Katan's like, no, hold up, I got this. Like. So after the Night of 1,000 Tears, like I went up and talked to fucking Moff Gideon, and we made a deal. Like I would surrender, and he would stop nuking the planet. So that's how he got the Darksaber. Except then he immediately went back on his word and bombed the shit out of the planet again.
I appreciate how much of a double-edged sword this is for Bo-Katan, having to admit this.
Yeah.
Because on one hand, you know, she's trying to say, I tried to save you guys. But on the other hand, her surrendering is going to be seen as a big problem anyway, because Mandalorians don't surrender.
Mm-hmm. Well, the old guy's like, all right, so that explains you, but like, how those fucking crazy ass cult people survive? And
how did the Westboro Baptist Church live?
Armor is like, we were on Concordia when all this shit was happening. Like, no one fucking bombed us. Old guy's like, are you guys Death Watch? Armor's like, there ain't no Death Watch anymore. Yeah. They split into these little tiny factions, which doesn't exactly answer the question.
Yeah, I did notice that she was, dude. She's just.
She's a little sketchy.
She's evasive and sketchy, and I don't trust her.
Bo-Katan is like, look, we're Mandalorians here. The only time Mandalorians lose is when we're too busy fighting each other to fucking fight the outsiders. Yeah. So let's just fucking stop fighting each other, and then we can fucking kick everyone's ass. It'll be great. So later, Bo-Katan is like standing by herself on the deck, and Mando walks up, and he says, you know, I was always taught that everyone else had forsaken the way because they were selfish and uncaring. Bo-Katan is like, actually, yes, I was kind of selfish, and that's the reason our planet is a piece of shit now.
Yeah. This scene, but I knew that the Bo-Katan, Din Djarin shippers were going to come. Do you know about this meme on Facebook? There is a water sports themed Bo-Katan and Din Djarin ship on a couple of pages I've seen on Facebook.
I don't like that you just told me this thing exists.
I don't like knowing it, but here we are. And if like I keep seeing these memes pop up about wanting Bo-Katan to piss on or on Mando. And so like you've ruined Star Wars for me, because now when I see a nice scene like this, I'm like, oh, she's probably going to piss on him. Like, they're going to love this.
Why are you looking at stuff from this? Like,
I'm not looking at it. It's looking at me. It's like it shows up.
You have the ability to filter the content you see, Daniel.
Yeah, but like the other content from these sources, like, you know, it's usually just funny memes. But then every once in a while, there's a year-end fucking, you know, meme about Bo-Katan.
Anyway, let's never speak of this again.
Yeah. So I wonder if those are waterproof. I mean, they're probably waterproof.
Mando says, look, we've been on the verge of extinction for thousands of years, and we keep being too stubborn to die. Like, I think we're going to be okay here. Bo-Katan is like, I don't know if I can keep everyone together here.
Yeah.
Like, everybody hates everybody else, and all I have is this fucking Darksaber.
And I'm telling you, like, the second two of you motherfuckers sit down for chess, it's fucked. So don't play any chess.
Mando's like, actually, nobody in my cult gives a shit about the Darksaber. Like, I'm following you because of honor, loyalty, and character, and like, you're actually a pretty decent person. So like, you just keep doing the shit you're doing, and I'll just keep helping you out.
Also, we make up our own rules for chess, so don't worry about it.
And she just kind of he kind of walks off, and she's like, actually, yes, I am kind of a cool person.
Yeah, all jokes aside, it was a nice scene.
Yeah.
It was this with an episode this short. They rarely take the time.
Short.
It was 30 minutes.
Are you sure?
Yes. It was a short episode.
It felt a lot longer than
It was a short episode. And as a result, sometimes moments like this tend to not happen, where the pace slows down a bit. Everyone like there are two characters that talk, and it's meaningful and everything. So I was like, good for you for having it.
So out on the deck, Armor is helping take care of the older, sicker Mandalorians, and Bo-Katan is like, all right, we're going to sleep here tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to sleep here tonight, and then tomorrow we're going to go find the Great Forge. And Armor is like, you know, like, some of these guys are way too fucked up to actually keep going. Like, you just drop me off at the gauntlet with them. I'll take them back up to the fleet, and they'll be fine.
Yeah, it's another moment where I was like, why? Why do you suddenly want to not be here?
Bo-Katan is like, yes, actually, that does make sense.
Yeah.
So she talks to the old Mando captain and is like, hey, we're going to the forge. Can you fucking help us find it? Captain's like, I know exactly where the forge is. I can fucking take you there tomorrow. Be great. So the next day, the fucking hoist sails. The Gauntlet takes the fucked up people back to orbit. On deck, Paz Vizsla and Axe Woves are playing Mando chess.
And then fucking Bo-Katan's like, oh no.
So apparently the Cult and the Night Owls have different rules for Mando chess. And like, Paz Vizsla tries to make a move that Axe Woves doesn't like.
Yeah.
And Axe is like, these fucking barbarians don't know how to fucking play chess. Can you believe this? And Paz Vizsla fucking stands up, pulls a vibro knife, and is like, bitch, are we actually going to fight over chess moves right now?
Yeah.
And Axe Woves is like, I guess we are. He pulls out his knife, and they just fucking go after each other.
Most Mandalorian thing in the world, fight over if you can make a certain move in chess.
And like, everybody's watching this, and Mando just kind of leans over to Bo-Katan and is like, you think I should do something about this? And Bo-Katan's like, nah, just let him work it out.
I told you, man, when the chess happens, you just might as well.
So they fucking fight it out for a while, and finally fucking Grogu and IG-12 just stands between them and keeps mashing the no button.
Yeah. There's a really great, by the way, in the middle of their fight, there's this like axe like lunges at Paz Vizsla and he just drops him right in the floor. He's like, fuck you, dude.
So finally, like, Paz and Axe just kind of look at each other like, this isn't over, but like neither of us want to upset the baby, so we'll just call a ceasefire. Bo-Katan's like, Mando, you fucking taught that kid pretty well. And Mando's like, I didn't fucking teach him that.
I told him to fight over chess. Yeah. Like, that's what we do.
So the pirate ship is...
Which, by the way, is that a Luke implication? Or is
I think so.
Yeah, I think also it would make sense to me that Grogu being attuned to the Force is probably more sensitive to bad blood. And when he senses that, he probably doesn't like it very much. So he's probably just like, quit it. I'm just a little baby.
So pirate ship is scooting around, and suddenly a fucking giant monster breaks out of some rocks and is like, "Roar!" And they're like, abandon ship, and the monster just breaks the ship.
Yeah. I like how you just took a 5-minute segment or 5-minute like set piece and boiled it down to 3 seconds.
I mean, it's not very plot relevant. Yeah.
I like how they got the one guy in the crow's nest because it's a fucking pirate ship. He's like, that's a creature.
Yeah, we need to go. So like while they're jetpacking out, like Paz and Axe grab IG-12 under the armpits and like jetpack him out, and so they hop down into a cave, and the captain's like, yeah, the forge is just a little bit down here. We just gotta keep going down. So they get down on the edge of the forge, and like,
there are spots throughout this interspersed where the armor takes off and goes up to the fleet.
Goes up to the fleet.
And this is another spot where it just started feeling like Game of Thrones because they have this neat storytelling mechanism where Mandalore is involved, where they can't comms.
Yep. Right.
You can't talk to anyone who's on the surface. They can't talk to anyone who's in space. And it is a visual barrier to what's happening.
There's fucking thunderstorms all the time.
So the writing or the story beat is they have to go through this veil, and then they suddenly see something.
Yeah. And
it goes both ways, right? And there's this part where she's ascending through the atmosphere to go see the fleet, and I don't know if it's just how it's shot or it's like if it's the music or the fact that I'm like, she's a sketchy bitch. There's this part there's a big thing in Game of Thrones toward the end where I'm not going to give you like a Game of Thrones thing, but Daenerys Targaryen is like, she's got a fleet and 2 dragons, and like she's ready to go, right? Mm-hmm. And so she sends her fleet to Dorne to pick up some more soldiers, and it's a great moment for her. Like everything's coming together for her, and this element that you totally forget about shows up, which is an enemy fleet by this terrifying pirate, and destroys the entire fleet. And it felt so much like this. And it's just the way like she's like ascending through the clouds, and you're like, what is going to be on the other side of this? Because they have no way of knowing. Yeah. Like they're completely cut off.
Mm-hmm. So they get down the forge, and like I think Paz asks the Night Owls, like, you used to live here? Yeah. And Axe's like, yeah, we all did. It was great.
To be fair, it was a lot nicer than this.
Yeah.
Before the nukes.
The old Mando's like, yeah, like when the nukes came, we survived by just migrating away from wherever they were nuking at any given point in time. Mm-hmm. It was kind of difficult. Then Mando hears something. He's like, are those fucking jetpacks? And then who should fucking fly into view but Moff Gideon's fancy ass white and black armor troops?
Yeah.
And everyone starts shooting. And they're like, holy shit, those guys have Beskar.
Yeah.
I just want to take a sidebar here. I think it was two episodes ago when Hunter, what's his name, finds the shuttle that Moff Gideon was busted out of, and they found the Beskar in there.
Yeah.
And like my theory was that it was Gideon's people who busted him out and planted the Beskar as a false flag. So I was half right there.
It was way more simple than that in a way.
Like they weren't trying to implicate the Mandalorians. It's just they had Beskar.
Yeah. And like I started getting a real bad feeling in general. I had a bad feeling as soon as they got to Mandalore, but once they start going deeper and deeper into this area, I started to notice the landscape and how it looked compared to the first scene. And I was like, oh shit, like this is really bad. They have no idea what they're walking into, because if you notice, everything starts matching. You know, Moff Gideon walks into his meeting, and it's obviously in a subterranean area.
Yeah.
And like they start getting into that area where it looks exactly the same.
Not yet. They're still in the forge here.
Yeah,
they do eventually.
Yeah, but I mean, yes.
Just let me keep going, and we'll talk about that when we get there. So they're fighting, and the Imperials are like surrounding them, and Axe is like, look, we need fucking reinforcements. I can just fucking fly up to the fleet, and we'll get there. And Paz Vizsla is like, there's a little crack in the rock up there. Why don't you fucking go, and I'll just cover you with my giant ass blaster machine.
I like how Paz is like, good idea, get the fuck out. like Axe is like waiting for someone to be like, no, you can't, you're too valuable.
Well, Bo-Katan tries to.
Yeah,
but
and Paz is like, have fun, motherfucker. I'll cover you.
And Axe just fucking zooms up out into the sky. He's like, to go get help.
No one wants to stop me. Okay. I guess I have to do this.
So the Mandos finally managed to turn things around, and like Bo-Katan gets some really fucking cool action sequences here, where she's like using her cables and her kung fu shit.
Yeah, they're all amazing fighters, and like, you know, you can put Beskar on a fucking stormtrooper. They're still a fucking stormtrooper. So
the Imperials are like, fuck this, we're not ready for this, and they fucking go away. And so the Mandos are following, and Mando turns to Grogu and is like, you better fucking keep up, kid. We're going hard here.
I know they had to have resisted the urge for him to hit the yes button. Yeah.
So they're chasing the Imperials through some underground tunnels, and things gradually get more metal and looking a little bit like vaguely Imperial. And then they find this giant fucking Imperial base just under the surface of Mandalore. And then it turns out like a blast door closes behind them and one in front of them, and it cuts off like Mando and like 3 other Mandalorians, I think.
Yeah.
And then a whole bunch of the jetpack troopers come down, and they immediately kill the other 3. And fucking Mando is left to fight on his own while everyone else is watching him through the fucking glass garage door.
Yeah.
And like he does pretty well, but like the stormtroopers have cables too, and they like
they also have Beskar, which you got to hit him in certain spots, or it doesn't do anything. So
he's like captured on his knees, and who should fucking descend from the sky in this gloriously shiny black and red armor but Moff Gideon himself?
This was a little insane. Not in a bad way either.
Yeah.
But his helmet has the horns.
It looks like a crown almost.
It's when the short stint of time that Darth Maul is in charge of Mandalore, he makes all of his acolytes wear their Mandalorian helmets with his little horns. That's why those are there.
I see.
Those are Darth Maul horns, I assume, because I haven't seen them on any other kind of Mandalorian helmet. And I would also point out, fucking the armor has the same thing on her helmet. So
okay. So Gideon's like, Mando, thank you so much for gathering all the Mandalorians in one place so I can kill them all at the same time. Like, your time is up, but like my Dark Troopers now have Beskar, which is really fucking handy, as you can see. Like, you can't kill us anymore. Like the Kaminoans, the Jedi, the Mandalorians, you all have something to offer the galaxy. But I'm just gonna I don't want you guys to exist. I just want to pick and choose the very best parts of what you do and like combine them into my army, which is going to bring peace and order to the galaxy.
Yeah.
Where have we heard that before?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, he's going crazy.
He's a little megalomaniac.
Yeah.
So, but before he does that, he has to get rid of the Mandalorian fleet. So he's like, send out the TIE interceptors and the bombers and shit. And they fucking take off, and he's like, I'm about to complete the purge of Mandalore.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Bo-Katan is like, you motherfucker, I should have killed you the last time I saw you. Like, I don't know why I let the Republic take you into custody. I should have just fucking slaughtered you there. Gideon's like, oh, wow, you're just adorable. Now give me the Darksaber and tell these people to fucking give up and work for me. Bo-Katan just kind of looks at Paz Vizsla, gives him a little nod, and Paz Vizsla's like, this is the way. And he just starts shooting the fuck out of the door, and all the other Mandalorians start shooting the door, while Bo-Katan goes to the back with the Darksaber and starts cutting a hole in the back door. And Gideon's like, these motherfuckers just don't know. Just open the door and shoot them, please. And he flies away.
They're like trying to, like the stormtroopers go to chase, but they're like, oh no, there's a door. And he's like, you have the controls
just
of the
open
door.
the door and kill them. It's not that hard. All right, so Bo-Katan cuts out this hole in the door, and everyone starts running. And finally, it's just her and Paz Vizsla, and she's like, all right, Paz, let's fucking go. Let's get out of here. Everyone's clear. Paz, like, steps outside, slaps the door shut, and says, you fucking go. There's way too many of these motherfuckers. This is the way.
Yeah.
Bo-Katan's like, you dumb motherfucker. We could have just left.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, I'll go.
Yeah.
So Paz Vizsla pulls out his machine gun, just shooting everybody. Just shoots the fuck out of everybody until his gun overheats.
Yeah.
Throws it at a motherfucker, starts beating the shit out of a motherfucker with a motherfucker.
Yeah. So first of all, I think his weapon was the only one that was having any effect on the armor and everything. Okay. I think everyone else's like smaller arms didn't really have an effect. The process of his gun overheating was really cool. Like the way it looked, everything, it looked like it was about to melt apart, and like the air was shimmering because of the heat and everything. It looked really, really neat. And
work.
Of course, the most Paz Vizsla thing, his gun doesn't work anymore, and he's like, well, I guess it's a melee weapon now, and just starts beating the shit out of people. Yeah. And he's such a fucking juggernaut too, where he takes out like, I don't know, 6 or 7 guys. Yeah.
So he's all out of enemies, so he just kind of slumps down. He's like,
thank God there's no
there's no one in shiny red armor with weird glowy purple weapons. Hey, are those Praetorian Guard?
Oh God. Now the way they introduce these guys is epic because they shoot them from behind and the frame rate is a little bit lower. Mm-hmm. So it almost looks like it's in slow motion. And the fucking music is kind of creepy.
It's like,
weird.
Holy shit, there's Snoke's Praetorian Guard.
Yeah. And they're markedly they're legally distinct from the Praetorian Guards, Snoke's Praetorian Guards, in that their helmets actually look pretty Mandalorian. They've got the T visor and everything. Whereas I don't know how the Praetorian Guards in Last Jedi saw through their helmets. They didn't have visors at all. I'm not even convinced they had eyes. Yeah,
it's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so Paz was like, all right, finally, fucking melee combat against worthy foes. And he pulls out his vibra knife. He puts on his little energy buckler. He's about to go in, and he just gets fucking shanked.
Yeah. There was really no chance.
It was never going to work out for him. So, like, he just gets shanked 5 ways from Saturday, and he's dead.
Falls over dead, and that's the end of the episode. Which, I mean, rip Paz Vizsla, fucking
badass,
fucking monster, took out a whole squadron of stormtroopers with him, and probably I don't know. Did it look like they could have gotten away?
Probably.
I don't know. Him closing the door and holding them there might have given them just enough time to get ahead and escape, right?
Yeah, maybe.
So it's he probably did need to stay behind. The dude's a fucking badass. Like, good for him. We forgot, like, there's one small scene with the armorer where she radios over to the
I have these injured Mandos. We need to get on board and get medical.
But that's the last we see of that. I really think the armorer is like the spy.
See, I hadn't actually suspected her until I came over here and talked to you.
Yeah, she just rubs me the wrong way all of a sudden. Ever since she like abandoned her like cult thing, I was like, everything about this sounds really weird. This is either it's the writing's rushed and they're trying to get there, quick enough to have it end in a season, or it's the writing is fucking brilliant and they put in an element of a character that seems wrong, but it serves a purpose.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, next week, if we find out the armor is the one who sold everybody out, I wouldn't be surprised.
I would ask what her motivation
Maybe
is.
it's Thrawn.
But, like, I can...
Maybe it's Thrawn. The armor is Thrawn.
I don't think so.
Oh, well.
Like, anyway, I was wondering what her motivation might be, but I guess I could see that, like, she might understand that her cult necessarily needs to be this small, oppressed outsider group.
Yeah.
And that with Bo-Katan, like, the way things were going, they were in danger of actually taking back Mandalore at some point, or making their own homeworld, at which point her way of life would no longer work.
She might see Moff Gideon as the true ruler of Death Watch.
That's possible.
Which, that's... I really got to brush up on Clone Wars. I'm pretty sure that's the Mandalorian faction that Darth Maul was in charge of.
Sounds right.
And I mean, the thing that would make it amazing, the thing that would make the writing really great, is if it turns out she was Death Watch all along, and she's like, you had the Darksaber, you are the true ruler of whatever.
He doesn't have the Darksaber anymore.
Yeah, but I mean,
details.
Yeah. So yeah, I put the chances of seeing Thrawn in the next episode extremely high, probably in a post-credit. I don't think he interacts with any of the characters.
Yeah.
I think we see him
fucking
at the end.
Probably Captain Paleon is on the space phone, says blah 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 blah. By the way, Moff Gideon fucking died.
Yeah.
And Thrawn is like, excellent.
Yeah, good. It's exactly what I thought would happen.
Yeah.
I think Moff Gideon's headed. He seems like he's about to just burn right out and die, right? Because he's kind of getting crazy and he wants to be in charge of everything.
Plus, he has Mando in close quarters, which is just never a good idea.
Yeah. It will be tricky for them to rescue him. The next episode's going to be crazy, probably. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I want to make sure we get some chats out of the way, including the chats that were left on our spoiler thread. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. That didn't make the text any bigger. Jimmy says, can you tell we're getting close to the Force Awakens era, judging by what we saw? You can tell.
It's very deliberate. Like, I think we're 25 years off in canon.
Yeah.
But
is it safe to say, if Thrawn is returning, that Ezra is dead? Thrawn might have killed him. I sure hope not.
Not necessarily.
Yeah. In fact, I would bet money that that Ezra's alive. Joshua says, so I'm looking at the episode Disney Plus now, and it's actually 53 minutes. Huh.
That does include intro and credits and things, but I'm pretty sure it was longer than 30 minutes of action.
He said 53 minutes. So
right, that's what's listed.
I'm not sure. I thought I checked it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I was wrong. Like I said, I'm not gonna. I bet your life on it. I wouldn't bet my life on it. It was fast paced for sure and felt like a half hour, but it was nearly a full hour. 2 questions. Jimmy says the Empire still mentions Thrawn and Palpatine, but they never mention Vader. So did the Empire not give a crap about him?
I don't think any of the rank and file Imperials actually liked Vader, mostly because he kept killing them.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like no one. You might have heard some weird shit about Palpatine, but he didn't like shoot lightning at your best friend or anything.
Right.
Whereas Vader just fucking breaks necks and lightsabers people whenever he feels like it.
Remember what their image of Vader would have been. It would have been different than ours. To everyone else, Vader was Palpatine's attack dog, and that was just about it.
Yeah.
Right. Number 2, I noticed a pattern. First, we lost Tech and Bad Batch, who I heard ain't returning from the Bad Batch panel, and now we lose Paz and Mando. Why do they feel the need to kill all these characters after they get development?
Because
it elicits an emotional response.
Yes, you develop a character and then kill them so that the audience feels something.
Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, like fucking hurts because like they made Paz into kind of a badass, and when that's one of the reasons that Game of Thrones was so fucking crazy popular.
Like to back up a step, you kill a character to show that shit has gotten real.
Yeah. That
the stakes are high.
Yeah. Squish says spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's true. Yeah. Hence the spoiler warning around the screen. Only way I hear or get to find the 411 on this is through you guys. Oh, we're glad that you're here.
Yeah.
That's fucking great. Derp says, oh no, we got biased Marvel fans here. JK. He was probably talking about the Marvels thing. Yeah. Tyler says it was an interesting episode. Let me. I'm gonna go check. Of course, we're on Facebook every week. Like usually earlier in the day, I'll post a spoiler thread where I encourage your thoughts and and say that we'll read them on on the show. April says, I thought the fleet was going to get destroyed and the main characters were going to be fine, since all the main characters left the others behind where they couldn't communicate. But what turn of events? Now I feel like nothing's off the table. It's like the end of Serenity. You feel like this could be a TPK. No one is safe. I wonder what TPK means.
Total party kill.
Oh.
Just fucking rocks fall, everybody dies.
I thought, okay, you and April.
So, like, we know there's a season 4 of Mandalorian. So, presumably Mando and Grogu are going to make it out somehow. But
or maybe not. I mean, maybe Mandalorian doesn't make it.
Maybe it becomes the Bo-Katan show.
Yeah. Joshua says, my big takeaway was Pelion lives! In all caps. Given the heavy reference to clones and the current physical absence of Thrawn, I'm starting to wonder if the Thrawn in the Ahsoka trailer was the real original Thrawn. Could they perhaps be taking inspiration from the Hand of Thrawn duology, rather than the original Thrawn trilogy? No, I don't think so. Out of the Thrawn stories and legends, the Hand of Thrawn was the weaker one. I think that they would be more likely to pull from the original Timothy Zahn trilogy.
I think it's most likely they're not going to replicate any of those old stories, and they're going to try to do something new. Just because I don't think they've really.
That's what they tend to do. Is they take some stuff that people that will spur people's feels, but they kind of make it into their own thing. Yeah.
Just like they haven't taken any old stories wholesale and just put them in the new canon.
Yeah. The second, far more likely possibility is that this is the clone Thrawn prepared in his fortress in the unknown region, programmed to remain dormant until it has been 10 years since the last word from Thrawn. Yeah. The thing. Well, no, because I mean. I don't think they'd be doing this and then having Ahsoka where they have her searching for he's out there. Like he's out there somewhere. Ezra is out there somewhere. I think it's actually Thrawn. Joe says, I'm thinking Moff Gideon will be defeated once and for all by Bo, having a mythosaur aid the Mandalorians, and Moff Gideon will ask for reinforcements to be denied by Thrawn or the rest of the council we saw at the beginning of the episode. The second part of that makes perfect sense. Him getting in trouble, being like, I need help, and then Pelion being like, Thrawn says no. and then he's fucked. Yeah. And he dies, Jimmy says the episode was amazing, but I'm hearing rumors that Thrawn will be in next week's finale, but I honestly don't see them doing that. I see them saving his grand return in Ahsoka series instead. What do you guys think?
Post-credits scene.
Yeah, it's the perfect way to set up Ahsoka, honestly. Yeah. And remember, guys, Ahsoka's happening sooner than you think it is. Like it's in August. August isn't that far away.
It's 4 months.
Yeah. Christopher, they got my hopes up with the Blade Runner vibes of the opening scene and didn't let me down. Definitely a palate cleanser from last week's underwhelming effort. I liked last week's episode. Gordo says that was spicy and good episode.
Agreed.
April says, I'm unsure how I can be expected to function as a responsible adult for the next 7 days.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Joe says, the best way to describe my feelings of the episode is yes, 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 no, 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 no. I agree.
Yeah.
Benny says, everything is starting to fall in place now. Also, that being said, I'm starting to feel that the Jedi Survivor game was delayed by 6 weeks, not for bug fixing, but to wait for The Mandalorian to complete its season due to spoilers. I absolutely agree with that.
Maybe.
Yeah, because it makes sense to me. Like Randy says, it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
And DJ says, they gave us a fluff episode last week just to kick us into the pit of despair this week. Remember, like a good show has different pacings. I mean, you can't have balls to the wall crazy shit every week.
Sometimes you just need to decompress a little bit and give the characters time to comprehend what has truly happened and move the plot along.
Let everyone have a breath. Yeah.
Because like last week was not completely devoid of main plot. Like they got Axe in the fleet.
Yeah. And the Darksaber changed hands.
Yeah.
And then a couple news things. I'll mention briefly.
Yeah, the Daisy Ridley movie. Apparently, Kathleen Kennedy just called up Daisy Ridley and says, "Hey, you want to make another Star Wars movie?" Daisy Ridley was like, "Absolutely."
Yeah. And then Kathleen Kennedy said the script for that film, the Daisy Ridley film, is about 6 weeks from being finished.
Okay.
And she said, I think in a similar interview, maybe the same interview or a different one, said that all of the films that they announced are far along in development, which to me,
whatever the fuck that means.
well, to me, it means we're not canceling these.
She says that now.
Yeah, I think that's what I took from that is like she knows that people are probably like, okay, are we ever going to see these motherfucking films?
Mm-hmm.
And her being like, this, like, we're already balls deep in it, so we'll probably cancel. And then we'll talk about the Marvels trailer during the Battlefront stream, which is going to be happening here in just a couple of moments. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all of your support. We love you guys. We love the comments. Join us in just a couple of minutes. We'll be playing Star Wars Battlefront 2. We'll be talking to you guys, hanging out.